Hi, my name is Eric and I was at Gamescom last week. I was there for 3 days in a row for the first time, and I truly had the time of my life, which is why I decided to make this video. To give some context, I am a gigantic Hoyoverse fan, and I spent my entire time only around the Hoyoverse booths, which is why this video is called the way it is. I've met Zinless Zone Zero and Honkai Star Rail videos in the past, and Genshin Impact was my first gacha game that I started almost exactly 4 years ago. I have been playing ever since, and I also play Zenless and Star Rail since release. I have attended the Hoyoverse booths at Gamescom for the past 3 years as well, and while I love these games more than I can express, I have to mention that I also have a certain specific obsession with Black Swan from Honkai Star Rail as well. While I would love to explain why I love these games so much in detail, this video is supposed to focus on Gamescom, but I did want to explain why all of this is so special to me. A very big factor in all this is also my love for cosplay. I have always been very intrigued by it, and I have been following many talented creators for years, until I also began doing some higher quality cosplays myself. I've had the pleasure to learn about it and experience walking around Gamescom and cosplay all day for all 3 days I was there, and it is a big central aspect for me which makes up half the joy of the entire experience. Since this was the first time I went to the convention for that long, I was planning and organizing my trip for half a week before I actually set off, but the long preparation really ensured that absolutely nothing went wrong. With all this said, let me begin to recap how these 3 days of Gamescom were from my perspective. Surprisingly, the traffic on day 1 was the best, as my friend and I arrived at Gamescom around noon after changing into cosplay at my car. What I always do at Gamescom every year is that I walk around in cosplay and just talk to every single person whose cosplay I like and know from somewhere and ask them for a picture, to later tag on Instagram and just have many fun interactions with a great deal of people. I of course also always want to meet cosplayers I follow actively and have been admiring for years, who I even partially have already met before. And apart from that, I am mostly there for the Hoyoverse booths, with the goal of witnessing many of their awesome performances, walking through every booth, taking tons of pictures and videos, collecting goodies, playing games, and also spending some money in the merch area. I had to walk past the gigantic Borderlands booth to get to the Hoyoverse area, where I got this quick picture of Claptrap. I loved playing Borderlands 2 back in the day and I will definitely tap into BL4 as well. Yet while their booth looked fantastic, the queue was incredibly long and I did spend all my time at the Hoyoverse booths instead. The first people I met and took a picture with were Discole, Farazan and Shao, and I shortly after met Kole and Farazan again as we all queued for the Genshin booth together. In between I got a quick picture of this Kafka and Blade, before I got a good look at the Star Rail booth, which looked fantastic this year as well. While we were in queue we found more cosplayers and suddenly had a really big Genshin group, where I ended up being the odd one out as Finon. Right after I miraculously already got my favorite picture of the entire 3 days, which was just me standing before the Star Rail booth right next to Pom Pom. Pom Pom is honestly always such a highlight every year, and I have only the utmost respect for the person who lives through this costume, as I assume it is especially exhausting to wear and even perform impartially. I was so lucky to have met Kole and Farazan because I have a weak bladder and I drink a lot of water in conventions. And for us being 3 people in queue, one person could hold a spot while the other could go to the bathrooms. After I then had my first bathroom break, I couldn't believe that I already had the chance to meet the absolutely incredible Terran cosplayer, who had made 2 fantastic cosplays completely from scratch right before Gamescom. His flints was simply perfect, and Terran's vibe was just very positive. He shook my hand like twice and complimented me on my cosplay, let me have a few pictures and told me many good and motivating things to generally apply to life. He seemed like such a genuine and kind soul, and it was just such a pleasure to meet and interact with him. After some more time had passed, we finally moved up a good bit in the queue for the Genshin booth. The line was by far the longest I've ever experienced, but we made it through quite smoothly once we got reasonably close to the entrance. The Genshin booth had the most activities and therefore also the highest interactivity, with tons of amazing decorations and fun things to enjoy. All the employees were always so incredibly nice and fun to talk to as well. We first got a small magazine which included all information about the Genshin booth and the challenges we were about to do. We had to collect 5 stamps in total. One was given for simply starting and the next was given for leaving a little note on the big wall, but they already had run out of notes to write one at that point, which is why we just got the rewards without really doing anything. We were allowed to draw one of these holographic character cards, and while I got Linny, who I do like, my cosplay friends got Chiori and Skirk, who I both love especially. Farazan then offered me to trade, and I was overjoyed to accept. While we sadly couldn't leave our own notes, it was still very impressive to gaze upon this gigantic wall of handwritten pieces of paper. While waiting, we took some more pictures with the awesome big standees which were scattered all around the booths. The next station let us draw from a bucket with character keychains for posting the Genshin booth with certain hashtags on Instagram. And this not only incredibly pretty, but also a very kind worker let me draw multiple times until I got Risley after I had gotten Klee and Wondra twice before that. We then continued walking into the booth and got a good look at this big list of factions and other decorations. Next up we had this throwing challenge where 5 sticking balls would award an additional postcard on top of one you would already receive just for participating. I was very happy to get both Loma's and Flinz's card from that. While I almost had 5 good throws in a row, Kole even beat me to it. The last challenge was filling out a survey to evaluate the booth, which then let us draw one of these pretty pins, where I got a Shanghai one, which I was very happy about, as I like her very much. I then also got some Kenichi stickers for participating in a small prize draw, and that was it for the Genshin booth, but my Gamescom experience had only just begun. Next I met this amazing Kenichi and Fugue, both looked amazing and were very fun to talk to. I then right after took a turn into the merch booth, since I noticed that the line wasn't long at all. Once I was inside I was just completely overwhelmed with how many things they had available. It was definitely the biggest merch area Hoyoverse has had at Gamescom so far. I was a bit disappointed that there weren't any Black Swan related items, though I do already own quite a few, so it was okay. Without thinking about it too much, I had spent quite a bit of money and even reached price goals which promised more extra gifts at checkout, which I didn't even know about until that point, but I had reached all 3 goals already, which I was then very happy about. I was allowed to pick this awesome Astra card. I think I also got another small Skirk item, and these 2 absolutely stunning Starry posters of Akron and Aglaya. I then took a glance into the ZZZ booth, which had this insane collab car and this big screen constantly playing Lycon's theme in a trailer for the car, which was an insane compilation of visual and auditory elements. I took a picture of these amazing ZZZ cosplayers from the booth and also found an Aglaya and an Axa afterwards. It was also so nice to get a picture of the Serini as Finon, as they are related story-wise in the game. But of course every single one of the official cosplayers were all stunning and represented the booths amazingly. Then I found this Ishuen and Evelyn, who were also both very sweet and fun to talk to. From my way back from the bathroom I then spotted Bakuhatsu, the creator I followed on Instagram and met the past 2 years at Gamescom. She remembered me both this and last year, and I was so happy to see her and talk to her again. While we had our conversation, we suddenly got a lot of attention, not only from regular visitors asking us for pictures, but also just straight up PaySafe card pulling up to us and letting us know about their agenda. We ended up in their Instagram story on their account with 100,000 followers, so that was quite something. It felt so good to be admired by others and to be wanted for pictures and included in activities like that. I was a bit disappointed with myself at the end of day 1 because I took far less pictures than I wanted, but I thankfully made up for that in the next few days. Later in the day it then was time to depart from Gamescom, take our shuttle bus to the car and then drive to our stay. We then just had pizza and I got to only partially do my gacha game dailies because the internet was a little inconsistent. I spent like 2 hours ordering and reorganizing all my stuff that I would need for the next day afterwards and then posted all my pictures from the day on Instagram, which also gave me many more fun interactions with people I had met, and I was overjoyed over Taran reposting the picture I took with him earlier that day, but also over other kind messages and compliments I received from other people. Then it was finally time for bed. On the second day I went to the convention as Lighter, and I honestly couldn't believe that the first cosplay I met was another Lighter, which made for a very fun start. I walked straight to the ZZZ booth to check out how long the line is, as I wanted to go through it with my matching cosplay. There I immediately took pictures with the official Evelyn and Astra Yao cosplayers, and I was especially happy to, as these 2 and Lighter form my favorite team from the game. The line for Zenless was still a little long, therefore I decided to immediately go on a picture streak, finding this really cool Ellen, this more Lani at the Genshin booth, and then I straight up found another Lighter. All of them looked amazing. I then saw the official Starry cosplayers taking more pictures, and I went ahead even though my cosplay didn't match that day. I was there to create as many memories and take as many pictures as possible. All of them looked fantastic and were nice to talk to as well. Afterwards I found this pretty castress, who I also had a very lovely conversation with. I then took a cool accidental picture before taking more of the official Zenless cosplayers. This time 2 of them as Wise and Chufufu. I can only keep saying that every single cosplayer looked amazing, and I am just so happy about every single picture I got. Afterwards I met this Yuga cosplayer who suggested we do a fist bump, as Yuga and Lighter make a really good team in game, which I thought looked amazing. I then found another Chufufu and a Skirk, both of them were really nice as well. More pictures with a Tigyun and a Shorekeeper, where we then had 3 games in 1 picture. I loved finding a Bernice as well, since both her and Lighter are from the Sons of Caledon, and therefore matching. Afterwards I met my last year's bestie for the day, and I was very happy to see her again. Then it was finally time for me to enter the line of the Zenless booth. They also had a few challenges to do in order to gain rewards, like posting pictures and showing them your game UID. I also got a better look at the car and got a good glance into the booth itself, of course. There were many awesome decorations and screens playing videos from the game. The Zenless booth gave you a cool bag with postcards, some ears, a very big poster, some really cool random cards, where I unfortunately got graced twice, but it's alright of course. I did see someone have a Lighter card though, which I would have loved to have for myself. After I made it through, I continued taking more pictures. The official Hugo, Jane and Alice all looked absolutely fantastic. I then also found a cool Mighty and Sumera Aramite, before finding Taran yet another time. He was so nice to me again and complimented me on my Lighter cosplay, also asking if I was going to be there on Sunday, where he would bring out his Manator cosplay. But sadly Saturday was going to be my last day and I missed his Manator both on Wednesday and Sunday. Right after that it was time for Starry Sky to go on stage again, playing various Genshin songs from every single region. I only watched their performance partially on Friday, but then saw almost everything on Saturday, so more on that later. I then took a picture of the Serene and Kenichi, and the Kenichi had a really awesome claymore and signs of a How doing different poses which I thought was so fun to look at. I felt a bit awkward taking pictures with these incredible Tribios cosplayers while my cosplay was so unrelated, but I really didn't want to miss taking one with them. I then found this really cool Nicole as well. Afterwards I saw the Borderlands cosplayers taking pictures, and I got the chance to take a picture and talk to Saya the Fox again, who I already met last year, and she was so nice to me both then and when I saw her again. I told her again how much I admire her work, and she's genuinely one of my favorite cosplayers, which is why this moment definitely was one of my biggest highlights. I was then also super happy to meet a Black Swan, as she's my absolute favorite character from all the games, and this cosplayer looked amazing as her too, of course. After that I had another very special moment, which was meeting Toronto again after 2 years. I saw him in the mirror next to me in the bathroom, and I was like, "Yo, Toronto!" I of course wanted a picture, and he was so nice to say that he would wait outside for me. We then went to the side and just had a little chat. I asked him if he even had time and how he is, and he told me that he was enjoying Gamescom as well. We took a picture and I thanked him for all the content he makes, and I also mentioned that I love his collabs with Xiox, who I also really like. That made me think of telling him that if he remembers, that he could maybe let Xiox know that he has a very big fan in Germany, to which he then told me to show him the picture we took so he could also take a picture of it really quick to show him. He said that he would let him know that the lighter cosplay really likes him, and he also complimented me on my cosplay too. While I was holding out my phone for him to take a picture of it, I was still talking and didn't notice how incredibly fast he took the picture. I genuinely didn't even see it somehow, and he laughingly told me that he just was really fast. I thanked him again for the lovely interaction we had and wished him a great remaining time here in Germany. After that I found another amazing Alan, before then getting to enjoy another music section on the Genshin Impact stage. It was 8-bit Strix playing a bunch of Genshin OSTs, and they were genuinely really talented and did an amazing job on their performance. There was this one song right here that I loved especially, because of its intensity. I love high energy music that simply goes really hard, and the way they played it was just absolutely phenomenal. It was such a pleasure to watch and listen to them that day. I then found these 3 stunning Nihility ladies and an Aoife cosplayer. This kind of picture was especially fun to take, since there were just so many people on it. Afterwards I met this Colombina, who had incredible looking accessories and a very cool headpiece, and this Arlecchino, who had also a very cool scythe with her. After that I met Adia, Baressa and Firefly, who all looked great as well. I also snatched a duo picture with this incredible Ellen from the Zenless booth. Then I got another cool group pic with this amazing Aoife, Bootil and another Colombina. I met a very pretty Yelan, a Topaz who had a super cool Numby plushie, and also the official Rena cosplayer from the Zenless booth as well. I couldn't help myself to ask Evelyn and Astra for another picture, which showed us a little closer together, since I just love these 3 characters and the team they form so much. After that I honestly couldn't believe that I would still make it to the Star Rail booth, but while I was really tired I went for it anyways because the line was so short at that point, and before I'd possibly end up missing it I pushed myself through it. There I was able to leave a scuffed little note after I couldn't at the engine booth the day before. I then got a close glance at the incredible looking decorations on the booth, all themed around Amphorius of course. After getting stickers for posting the booth and filling out the survey, it was time for me to draw my own Chimera, where I honestly could have done a lot better, but I was too tired to be able to really learn and understand how the colors and brush options worked. My drawing still ended up being quite cute. I tried giving it Black Swan's colors, but the filling option made it end up having way too much purple. During the wait afterwards, I met these 2 really sweet cosplayers who I took some pictures for in the booth, and then they also recorded me answering a question at the end of the booth. My reward for answering correctly was this really cute slap-on mem bracelet. After that I was already dead tired, but got a few more pictures with this Yai Miko, Mavuika and Ito, Fushuen, and this Miyabi, where I liked their matching Zenless cosplays especially. For my 3rd and final day I went back as Finon again, and one of my goals was to take more pictures with Stara cosplayers that day. While I was on the way, I met this small group where I had already met a Kinich and this Albedo who was the Farina a day before that. She helped me attach a part of my cosplay and did it without me even having to explain. She immediately just knew what to do, and I was so intrigued by her because of that. After that I got a super quick picture with Kamui cosplay, who really seemed to have absolutely no time, but was still nice enough to have us take a picture together. I admire her cosplay crafts with all my heart, and I'm always impressed by what she can do. Then I found another Casterus. I really love this character a lot too. And then, for the 3rd time, I had the chance to meet Terran again, who was then dressed as Mighty. I didn't know, but was really hoping this would happen, because it would mean that I matched my final with him really nicely. I still need to work on my posing to look just as cool as him, but I was also just trying to hide my bag in the pictures by standing sideways. I was so happy to meet and talk to him one last time, and kept admiring how especially great he looked as Mighty. After that I had a small encounter with the geniuses of Herta and Runmei, meeting another great and Aglaya duo, and taking a picture of this amazing Hysolence and Sparkle, who were also very fun to talk to. I took another picture of the Zenless cosplayers because the one who wore Jane before was now in a Vivian cosplay. I really have to keep saying how amazing all these cosplayers look because I genuinely admire all their work very much. I then coincidentally met this Alhaitham, who I already met as Alhaitham, adds to Komi earlier this year. I then found a few cool 1.0 character cosplays, among which were this Zila, Herta, and Clara. Afterwards I was back to the Star Rail booth for more pictures with the official cosplayers, this time in a matching cosplay, and whoever took this picture got such a fantastic close-up from the three of us. I then felt a little small between these very nice Miyabi and Yanagi cosplayers, before I met this fantastic Haya-san and encountered this super cool D-look. I then met this group, where the Black Swan and Yanagi were the Skirk and Jufufu from the day before. This time they had a Haramasa with them, and since we were so many people now, we had a longer, very sweet conversation, and I really enjoyed my time hanging with them for a bit. After that, Starry Sky was back on stage, and I spent more time watching them, as they again played a big variety of songs and their signature Scaramouche song, which I actually heard right here at Gamescom for the first time 2 years ago, and hearing it live again was especially nice. I then ran into this Kave and Alhaitham duo, before I had someone take some solo pictures for me in front of the Star Rail booth. Afterwards I enjoyed some more music from 8-Bit Strings again, because they genuinely really impressed me the day before. When the performance was over I also got to take a picture of my friend as Alekino and Zhongli accompanying her. Soon after I also met my other friends, who made the effort to practically visit me at the hall I was at literally the entire time. Then after trying multiple times to get a picture and not succeeding because she was busy, I finally did meet Frozam, who I had always adored for her beautiful smile, especially paired with her Navia cosplay. We had a very nice conversation, she was just so genuinely kind towards me and I really loved talking to her. I also found Mizuki and Shilonen before I got myself some more pictures in the Star Rail booth. An employee was super kind to let me pass the line for the booth just for a few pictures, which even he took of me as well. I was so happy about all the workers there being so nice to me, it's always a great experience. I then also got a quick picture with Nozomi, who was already off shift and I felt really bad for deciding to disturb her, but I simply loved her Highlands too much not to ask. Afterwards I caught Anelik, who was also off her shift at a different booth and simply exploring the convention, but she gave me a small moment to talk to her and take a picture. I also really admire her work and we both share a big love for anything purple. I also got to meet Bako Hatsu one more time as Klee. At this point we were having such incredibly casual conversations as she was always being super chill and very sweet. Later I found the ZZZ collab car almost entirely open and perfect for pictures, and the German guy I met made such an effort to take many pictures of me with it, which was really nice of him. The very last picture I took for myself was a picture just of me and the Black Swan cosplayer. As I mentioned, Black Swan is by far my favorite character and it felt amazing to pose with her in my own cosplay, and I am beyond happy with the result. After that I began walking my last circle around all the Hoyoverse booths before then finally making my way home. But the video doesn't end here yet. I made an effort to make a small compilation of all the goodies and merch I got from the booths. This was the really cool booklet that we got at the booth, this was the holographic card, a keychain, some postcards, Shenhe pin, another really cool standee thing, some stickers, and this collab card. This was the Zenless booth guide. I got some ears on my head, then also more cards, some Lycan and Rina cards, some postcards from Zenless, more cards from Lycan and Rina. Then those are the Grace and Trigger cards, this really cool bag, this very big poster, some Star Rail cards, my Chimera that I drew, Crisis Air stickers and Chimera stickers, the Mem bracelet, also this really cool bag, and here I got Raiden from this random box thing. I had a very pretty bag which included this Kalis puppet, Shilonen standee, Frina standee, Navia pins, Sparkle keychain, Klee keychain, Kafka pin, Chlorant pin, Molani pin, some more postcards, Naida thing, Fushwen standee, Farina pin, another postcard, Mawika acrylic stand, Raiden keychain, Shenhe standee, Chlorant standee, Kafka standee, Rappa keychain, Rowan May acrylic stand, Farina acrylic stand, Risley pin, Nahida pin, Skirk card, more cards from Zenless, Genshin card thingy, and some really cool Akron and Aglaya posters. And to have another overview, here's a picture of everything I got in one place. And I additionally also got a few cards and small items from cosplayers I met. I have been waiting for these 3 fantastic days of Gamescom for a long time, and having learned more about cosplay, saving all my money for it, and preparing days and weeks in advance, I managed to have the genuinely best experience ever and make memories I will never forget. There is no other place where I am the most genuine me as I am there, and I am so endlessly thankful for the people I met and traveled with, everyone I was able to talk to and take pictures with, the booths being as awesome as they were, and also surprisingly many people asking me for pictures as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. It was my first time ever writing a script and making something that wasn't directly related to gaming. As I've said, I've made Hoyoverse related content before though, so please make sure to check out my other videos. I have more very cool stuff coming up in the future as well, so consider subscribing or leaving a like and telling me which part of my experience you thought was the most interesting in the comments. With that said, have a good one. Peace.